I'm sharing my screen. Once it is visible, say yes in chat box. Okay, yesterday we covered the health chapter, right? We are discussing the health chapter. In the health chapter, uh, and also power of inspector also we have discussed. Okay, in health chapter we discussed about the cleaning as well as the painting and the washing requirements of specific units. And also we discussed about the waste disposal and effluent. As we know, when we talk about the waste effluents, I mean disposal of waste and effluent, so it also talks about the various parameters or conditions which we required to dispose the waste and also treatment. Okay. Okay, so here we talk about the waste with respect to the segregation and also collection, segregation, and maintenance, then disposal. And as we know about effluent, there are two types. One is effluent with respect to the process, and the effluent with respect to the domestic, which comes from the offices, toilets, canteens, etc. I take out process effluent, the water which has interacted to your process or which is contaminated with the your process chemicals. Okay. Then we talked about ventilation temperature. So here we need to maintain the proper ventilation and temperature within the premises so that it can't give any health effects to the people. Then dust and fumes. So here also the organizer or the manager or the occupier has to provide or make a suitable arrangements to take out the fumes or dust which is generated within the facility. Then we also talked about artificial humidification. Then we also talked about overcrowding. So minimum of 14.2 cubic meters of place it should be available for the each employee. Then we talked about lighting. In lighting, it is nothing but provision of light to make environment comfortable so that they can able to distinguish the objects. Okay. So just to recheck, my voice is clear, right? Because here there is a bad weather. There is I mean heavy rain. Is it clear? My voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Harira. Fine. Then we also talked about a few factors with respect to lighting. So there we have to avoid the glare and shadows. Okay, जो भी हम लोग lighting provide करते हैं, so because of the lighting glare, it should not generate any glare. It should not give any reflections by falling that light in a polished or smooth surfaces, and also it should not form any shadows as well. Okay. Then drinking water, this also we have seen the requirement. As we know, a minimum of 5 liters. So here it is not there. We could see the requirement or the quantity of the water in respective state specific rules. For example, we could see in the AP factories rules, we could see the requirement. Here we have sufficient supply of wholesome drinking water. And also we need to have the signages, and also it should not be located within the 6 meters of any drainage, spittoons, or any toilet, urinals, etc. But this also we can take exemption if the local specific inspector of factories gives an exemption in writing. Okay, and also we have to provide a cool drinking water during the hot weathers, especially in the summers. We have to provide the cool drinking water. So as I mentioned initially, so the sections will not be asked. So there they ask only the essential information. Why the Factories Act required? What is the main objectives of the Factories Act? So that you can able to write a few sentences with respect to the various requirements we have discussed. You can write about roles and responsibilities of occupier. You can write about inspection staff. You can talk about certifying surgeon and their roles. You can talk about these health provisions. Like you can write some of the sections with respect to dust and fumes and waste and effluent, disposal of waste and effluent, lighting, drinking water, etc. You can write the requirements so that you can able to get the score. And next is latrines and urinals. So here also we have to provide sufficient latrines and urinals. Accommodation of a prescribed type shall be provided, convenient, suited, and also accessible to workers at all times while they are at a factory. So we have to provide the sufficient amount of or quantity of latrines and urinals. Again, we have separate enclosed accommodation shall be provided to for a male and female. We should have a separate latrines and urinals for male and female. Then such accommodation shall be adequately light and ventilated, and no latrine or urinal shall, unless specially exempted in writing of chief inspector, communicate with any workroom except through an intervening open space or ventilated passage. So we need to provide sufficient lighting and ventilation to the urinal facilities except any exemption. Maybe some of the sites, if it is an open kind of things, the top is open, especially they do only works in the daytime. There is no night works. In such cases, there can be an exemption. But ultimately, it is very rare case. 100% nobody will not have light. Definitely, the lights provisions will be there in the toilets. Then all such accommodation shall be maintained in a clean and sanitary condition. Those has to be maintained in a very cleanly. Sweeper shall be employed, whose primary duty it would be to clean up or keep clean latrines and urinals and washing places. So we have to accommodate, or we have to hire a few people. They can clean these toilets and urinals and washing areas. Okay. Then in every factory where more than 250 workers are ordinary employed, all latrines and urinal accommodation shall be prescribed sanitary types. So the floors and internal walls up to the height of 90 centimeters of the latrines and urinals and sanitary blocks shall be laid in a glazed tiles or otherwise finished to provide a smooth polished impervious surface. So the requirement is if more than 250 workers are ordinary employed, where the toilets has to be have the side walls with the tiles or any smooth surface which is impervious, means it should not absorb water. Okay, the requirement is 250 and more. 250 के ऊपर जो एम्प्लॉयज को इन लोग हायर किया है, जो भी टॉयलेट पे 90 सेंटीमीटर्स के ऊपर, आई मीन ग्राउंड लेवल से 90 सेंटीमीटर तक उधर दीवार पे टाइल्स लगाना होता है, नहीं तो स्मूथ सरफेस बनाना होता है. ठीक है. And without prejudice to the provision of clause D and E of subsection 1, the floors or the portions of walls and blocks so laid or finished and sanitary pans of latrines and urinals shall be thoroughly washed and cleaned at least once in every 7 days with suitable detergents and disinfectants. So the walls of the toilets or urinals has to be cleaned at least 7 days. Okay, this also I'll highlight. More than 90 centimeters. You have to arrange a glazed tiles or other finished surfaces. Okay. Again, the state government may prescribe the number of latrines and urinals to be provided in a factory in a portion. So where they'll have the this thing. As per me, I think for every 100 workers we need 4 latrines, and after that, every 50 we need to have one latrine, etc. Extra. So for every 50, we have to increase the number. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. Then spittoons. So spittoons is nothing but again like people used to spit. I don't know. I mean exactly. Ummi vidamu. I don't know in Hindi what we used to call.
Sir, one question is from my side.
Sorry. Yeah.
From one question from my side,
Yes.
how much urinal and latrine arrangement for the workers of the counting wise person per
Yeah.
person?
No, basically for 100 people, there should be 4 latrines, and over and above, for every increase of 50 members, we have to add one each. I mean, 50%. Every increase of 50
50 for
members,
one
we have
person.
to add one extra.
50 for one person.
No, 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 no. Every 50 people, one latrine.
Oh, sorry, one urinal or latrine for
Yes.
50%.
Yeah, yeah.
Or what is the drinking water station per tab?
Sorry, drinking
Drinking
water.
water station per tab station.
No, I lost you. Come again. Drinking water station.
డ్రింక్ డ్రింకింగ్
Drinking
వాటర్
water
స్టేషన్
station.
ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ ఉంది
How, how much
అది ఎంతమంది పర్సన్స్ ఉండాలని అడుగుతానండి.
Oh, ఎవరన్నా
कितने
ఒక్కరు
आदमी
మాట్లాడండి.
कितनी टैब सर कितने आदमियों पर कितनी टैब लागू है?
टैप
हाँ जी, टैब ड्रिंकिंग वाटर टैब।
नहीं नहीं, टैप का कुछ ऐसा रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है इधर। ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का बारे में बात करेगा तो एक आदमी को मिनिमम 5 लीटर का जो सुविधा होना चाहिए, मतलब यू हैव टू
वो है
प्रोवाइड
सर, आई
5
नो
लीटर्स ऑफ
वो है
वाटर।
4.1 गैलन इज रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर द एवरी पर्सन, ओके।
हाँ,
पर लेकिन जहां तक है, आई नो रिमेम्बर दैट कि 25 पर पर्सन वन टैब।
ऐसा तो मैं कुछ आई मीन देखा नहीं है। मतलब जैसे वो होता है कि मिनिमम ऑफ आई मीन फॉर एग्जांपल पूरा आप 1,000 का लीटर का टैंक होता है, आप एक सेंटर पे लगा के सब आदमी आके उधर नहीं पी सकता है ना। इट्स डिपेंड्स ऑन द कंपनी, दे कैन कीप मल्टीपल पॉइंट्स। इट इज नॉट मीन दैट यू कैन हैव 50 टैप्स और 20 टैप्स, बट आई डिडंट रेड एनीवेयर
मल्टीपल स्टेशंस
एज ए लीगल रिक्वायरमेंट। इट इज अप टू द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, बिकॉज एक बंदा इधर से दो 500 मीटर और 600 मीटर जाके पानी पी के आने के लिए 15 मिनट लगाता है, आई मीन जानबूझ के। सो उसकी वजह
ओके।
से लोगों क्या करता है, शॉप फ्लोर के अंदर नजदीक में जिधर पॉइंट आई मीन हो सकता है उधर पॉइंट लगा सकता है। ऐसा नहीं कि एक एक जगह में।
टॉप फ्लोर से कितनी दूरी पर होना चाहिए, इसका भी कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट है क्या सर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का?
हाँ, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, जो 6 मीटर बोल के एक रिक्वायरमेंट है। आई जस्ट गो टू दैट रिक्वायरमेंट। बेसिकली क्या होता है, जो भी टॉयलेट का आसपास में दूसरा हो गया इधर, यू कैन सी इट शुड मेंटेन एटलीस्ट 6 मीटर ऑफ वॉशिंग प्लेसेस। जो यूरिनल का आसपास में और लेट्रिन का आसपास में, जो स्पिटिन्स का आसपास में, जो भी ओपन ड्रेन्स होता है उसका आसपास में, जो एफ्लुएंट का टैंक्स होता है उसका आसपास में 6 मीटर का डिस्टेंस में नहीं रहना चाहिए। विद इन 6 मीटर यू शुड नॉट कीप।
ओके।
उससे ज़्यादा आप लोकेट कर सकते हैं, बट ये भी एक प्रोविजन है। आप you can prove that जो भी आपका process है हम रख सकते बोले तो you have to take a written permission from the inspector of factories. भी 6 मीटर के अंदर ही रखना होगा तो you can get the written approval from the inspector of factories. That provision
Okay,
is there.
sir. Okay.
और सर ये ड्रिंकिंग वाटर को कितना दिन के बाद वो टेस्ट किया जाता है सर, एज पर रिक्वायरमेंट?
As per the requirement, it depends on again CFO based on the category of industry. Green,
Sir, quarterly.
white.
Most of time quarterly we have to check as per in our PIL industry. We have to check quarterly basis drinking water.
Yeah. No, sometimes it will
factory.
happen quarterly. Few companies they are doing on monthly also. It depends on the CFO because CFO in there we have seen last time also. They have a specific section monitoring and measurement. There, based on the requirement, you will do monthly or once in 2 months or once in a quarter. If I'm not wrong, orange industries they are doing once in 2 months. Red category industries they are doing once in a month, and some green category industries they are doing once in 3 months. That is how the CFO from the PCB it clearly defines.
ओके सर।
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, this act, I mean, it means it will give only the high level guidance. When we go to the specific, just to give me a second or another 1 minute, I'll just show you the exact requirements just to have an understanding so that everybody's confusion will go off.
सर बट मैंने BOCW में पढ़ा था वो 6 मंथ में उसका फ्रीक्वेंसी टेस्ट होता है सर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का। BOCW अकॉर्डिंग टू BOCW एक्ट में 6 मंथ, हाँ 6 मंथ में एक बार, हाँ जी यस सर।
BOCW में
BOCW जो एक्ट है 1996 में वो 6 मंथ में टेस्ट करना होता है। ये 6 मंथ क्या फिर नेक्स्ट 6 मंथ आफ्टर 6 मंथ?
उसका BOCW एक्ट एप्लीकेबल होगा या पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड का एक्ट एप्लीकेबल होगा?
नहीं बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट के लिए BOCW होता है। जब आप कंस्ट्रक्शन फेज पे होगा तो आपको BOCW आएगा। तब आप जब आई मीन यूज फेज में आ जाएगा, आई मीन ऑपरेशनल फेज में आपको ये CFO का कंप्लेंट्स फुलफिल करना होता है।
हाँ वो कंस्ट्रक्शन में BOCW और फैक्ट्री एक्ट में या आपका ऑपरेशन में फैक्ट्री एक्ट।
1 second प्लीज
सर व्हाट इज CFO?
एक्ट में तो कहीं नहीं लिखा ना कि कितने टाइम में ड्रिंकिंग वाटर टेस्टिंग होना चाहिए।
नहीं लिखा है ऑलरेडी।
ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का कितने टाइम में टेस्टिंग होना चाहिए क्या फैक्ट्री एक्ट में मेंशन्ड है?
फैक्ट्री एक्ट में कंस्ट्रक्शन में BOCW एप्लीकेबल होता है,
कंस्ट्रक्शन में फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट का मतलब फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट में नहीं है। जब आपको फैक्ट्री खोलता है ना, आपको पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल आई मीन पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड से भी आपको अप्रूवल लेना होता है। ठीक है, जब आप पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड से अप्रूवल लेते हो उसमें उन लोग क्लियरली मेंशन करता है आप महीने में करना है, 2 महीने में करना है, 3 महीने में करना है, उसके हिसाब से आप हाँ करेक्ट। Okay, somebody is asking about what is mean by CFO. So basically there are two terminologies people used to follow in South India. I mean the south parts of, I mean there is no South India, North India. In south side of India the people used to call consent for operation. It means the PCB is giving you an authorization to operate your manufacturing facility. When you talk about north side of India, the people call it as CTO, consent to operate. This is two different. Yeah, this is two different. I mean, differently the people used to say this
language.
operate. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, language. Yeah, thanks. That is the major difference, but the funda is same. It is just an approval to go ahead with your operations. Yeah.
So but there were like 3 pollution boards, like air control pollution board, water pollution, air noise pollution. So which pollution board we need to refer to know the details about CTO, CT?
There is no those many boards. There is only Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Board. There are rules or acts with respect to air pollution, water pollution, etc. You will get CFO or CTO based on the Environmental Protection Act. There are section 26 under the Water Act, and there is one more section under Air Act. Based on these two sections, you will get the CFO. There is no these many boards, only two
Okay, sir.
boards, central and state. Even nowadays, these approvals and all completely digitalized. So most of the states, they have a single window system in different names. In Andhra, there is single window system. So we used to apply for all these approvals. Previously, we used to go for conventional basis, process, completely manual documentation. But nowadays, it is completely digitalized. I'm not able to get this. AP factories rules. I try to find in break time. I will show you the exact numbers. Okay. I'll just give in a correlation also. What is drinking water is in Factories Act, and what exactly drinking water in AP factories rule, so that you people will have better clarity. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Then latrines we talked about. Then spittoons, as I mentioned, so basically they provide. Even for the spittoons also there is a material, especially galvanized material we have to use, and also the height and also shape. Also, it is clearly defined in the factory's rules. So when I say spittoons, ummi buydaniki use chestuntaru. People used to spit here and there in the factories. So it is a in hygiene. So based on considering that hygiene conditions, here we have to provide a spittoons. In every factory, there shall be provided a sufficient number of spittoons in convenient places, and they shall be maintained in a clean and hygienic condition. The state government may to take rules prescribed the type and number of spittoons to be
Lucky
provided
Dory.
and their location in any factory, and provide such further matters related to their maintenance in a clean and hygienic condition. So, if we talk about this act, this section, it is talking about you have to provide sufficient numbers. Hence, it is applicable for entire India. So, they are talking about sufficient number, generic language. When you go to the state specific, here they are clearly mentioned. The state government will define what type of material it should be, how to clean, and what is the maintenance frequency. Everything we can see in the state government rules. Okay, no person shall spit within the premises of factory except in the spittoons provided for the purpose, and a notice containing this provision and the penalty for the violation shall be uh, prominently displayed at suitable places in the premises. They should not spit here and there. And also, we have to provide such a signages as well. Sorry, any question? Okay. Okay. Yeah. And whoever spits in the contravention of subject rule shall be punishable with a fine not exceeding 5 rupees. See, here there is a penalty also. It should not exceed more than 5 rupees. कभी कभी फैक्ट्रीज में होता है ना, जो रूल तोड़ेगा तो 500 नहीं तो 100 रुपया 1000 रुपया फाइन डालेगा. बट जो भी ऐसा स्पीड करता है ना, उनको हम लोग 5 रुपीज तक पेनल्टी कर सकते हैं. इट इज नॉट एक्सीड 5 रुपीज. यू कैन पुट 1 रुपी 2 रुपी एक्सेट्रा. Okay. Then next chapter 4, which is safety. For freshers, you have to remember these chapters also. Sometimes who is the person who is taking the interview, they may ask you, just let me know what is which chapter. You'll see the safety provisions. Under which chapter you have health provisions. Under which chapter you have welfare provisions. Okay. Then when we talk about safety, so we have the section starts from 21, fencing of machinery. So it is nothing but guarding of machineries. In every factory, following namely every moving part of a prime mover and every flywheel connected to a prime mover, whether the prime mover or flywheel is in the engine house or not, and also the headrace and also tail race of every water wheel and water turbine, and any part of the stock bar which projects beyond the headstock of a lathe, unless they are in such a positions of such construction as to be safe to every person employed in the factory, as they would be if they were securely fenced or following. So to make it simple, every moving part or every rotating part has to be effectively protected or effectively guarded if it is not positioned. In IS 102, we have seen safety by construction, safety by position. And it's a safety by position, even though it is a rotating part, but we have positioned in such a way that nobody can reach that rotating or moving part. That is mean by safety by position. So it is not easily reachable. Okay, so that people will not get entangled with that rotating part. Himanshu, do you have any question?
No, sir, no. Thank you.
Please mute yourself. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ మీన్స్ సేఫ్టీ బై పొజిషన్. ఎప్పుడైతే ఒక వస్తువుని తిరిగే వస్తువుని కానీ మనము ఒక సర్టైన్ హైట్లో ఫిక్స్ చేసినప్పుడు అది ఈజీ యాక్సెస్ ఉండదు కాబట్టి నోబడీ కెన్ యాక్సెస్, సో దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆటోమేటికల్లీ ఇన్ ఏ సేఫ్ పొజిషన్. ఓకే, so unless they are in such a position of or such a construction as to be safe to every person employed in the factory as they would be if they were securely fenced, the following namely, for example, every part of electric generator or motor or rotary converter, or every part of transmission machinery, or every dangerous part of any other machineries. It is nothing but the rotating parts, rotating wheels, or any other dangerous parts. The movements must be securely fenced by guards and substantial construction, which shall be constantly maintained or kept in position. It is not about shall be securely fenced by guards, and also constantly maintained and kept in position. So this is also very important. So once they have provided the guards, but in between they had a maintenance issue, they have removed the guard, but they have not replaced it back, then that is a non-compliance. While the parts of the machinery they are fenced or motion or in use. So when the parts are in or fencing or in motion or in use. Okay. Then we have work on near machinery in motion. So this is especially for the maintenance people requirement, section 22. So where in a factory it become necessary to examine any part of the machinery, referring to section 21, while the machinery is in motion as a result of such examination to carry out. So sometimes what will happen for doing some lubrication or testing and all, the equipments has to be inspected while they are in active state, while they are rotating. In the case of referring to the clause 1, a provision subject to section 1 of 21, lubrication or other adjusting operations, or in the case of referred to in clause 2 of provision aforesaid, any mounting or shipping of bolts or lubrication or other adjusting operations. So simply any operation which you are performing while the machinery or while the equipment in running condition. While the machinery is in motion, such examination or operation only by a specially trained adult male worker wearing tight-fitting clothing, which shall be supplied by the occupier again, where the name has been recorded in the register prescribed this half on who has been furnished with a certificate of his appointment and while he is so engaged. It is simple that, as we know, there should be some type of activities where the maintenance team has to
सर
perform
प्लीज वन
during.
क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम माय साइड।
Yeah.
एक अडल्ट पर्सन मतलब एक स्किल्ड पर्सन को या मोशन मशीन पर कितने टाइम बाद जाना चाहिए, ऐसा कुछ रूल है क्या?
फिर से पूछिए, आपका सवाल ठीक नहीं लगा मेरे को। हाँ।
सर अगर कोई मोशन मशीन है या मशीनरी है, कोई भी
हाँ।
कोई हैजार्डस मशीनरी है, कोई डेंजरस मशीनरी है, कोई नया
हाँ।
पर्सन ज्वाइन किया है, एक 1 जुलाई को ज्वाइन किया है उसने, तो वो कितने
हम्म
दिन में उस मशीन पर जा करके काम कर सकता है? उस पे कुछ ऐसा कुछ रूल्स है क्या, कुछ गवर्नमेंट का
तो वही
स्पेसिफाइड?
तो है ना इधर। हमें दिस इज दैट इज व्हाट वी आर डिस्कस करेंगे, वही तो हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाला है अभी। मेरा एक्सप्लेनेशन खत्म नहीं हुआ है।
ओके।
I'll answer your question as well simultaneously. Okay. So
ओके।
basically, here it is dedicatedly talking about the maintenance people, because production and other people will not go and do any activities on the machineries. So basically, they are talking about specially trained adult male worker. When you say specially trained, they have trained on such activities. For example, as Himanshu said that, okay, a person joined on 1st of July, by when he can start working on these machines. So you
सर
have to give a confidence. Yes.
सर मैं ये बोल रहा था, जैसे कोई भी अपना कोई ऑपरेटर है, उसके साथ कोई हेल्पर है, ठीक है। वो
Hmm.
हेल्पर वो हेल्पर जो है वो काफी दिन हो गया साइट पे, तो वो
Hmm.
उसको कैसे देंगे? जस्ट लाइक मेरे पास क्रेन है, 4 मोटर
Hmm.
की क्रेन है, उसको
Hmm.
ऑपरेटिंग करने के लिए वो काफी दिन हो गया उसको साथ में रहते रहते, तो फिर कैसे हम
Hmm.
जस्टिफाई करेंगे कि उससे ऑपरेट करवा सकते हैं कि नहीं करवा सकते बिना इंडक्शन का?
उसको उसको ट्रेनिंग देना है। बिना ट्रेनिंग आप कैसे दोगे? इवन दो ही इज देयर फॉर 20 years 30 years in the factory, you can't give directly a crane. No, he should have given training on the crane operation. I mean, not only crane, whatever the equipment, if the people are handling, they should definitely get training on that equipment or a machine or a tool.
अच्छा, तो फर्स्ट उसको ट्रेनिंग देने के बाद, जस्टिफाई करने के बाद उसको दे सकते हैं?
हाँ, अब पहले ट्रेनिंग दोगे, बाद में ट्रेनिंग का इफेक्टिवनेस का फीडबैक लो लोगे। क्या होता है ना, ट्रेनिंग देने के बाद हम लोग एग्जाम लिखवा देते हैं ना, उसको समझ में आया कि नहीं। नहीं तो कभी कभी सवाल पूछता है, नहीं तो वो सिग्नेचर का जो ट्रेनिंग का डॉक्यूमेंट मेंटेन करता है, उसके बाद ही हम
हम्म।
उनको आई मीन मिशन के ऊपर लगा सकते हैं। जो बिना ट्रेनिंग का वो ठीक है डालो बोले तो वो एक्शन कर देगा। जो इधर भी है ना, बहुत सारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स है। सो हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्पेशली ट्रेन्ड अडल्ट। जो लोग है ना, खाली मेल, नॉट अगेन फीमेल आर नॉट सपोज टू allow for this activity. A specially trained adult male, which is adult males means above 18 years, and with tight clothing. So they should not wear any loose clothing. And also those whose names has to be recorded in the register. इन लोगों का नाम भी एक सब स्पेशली रजिस्टर फॉर्म है। आई मीन नंबर मेरे को याद नहीं है, आई विल शो यू दैट रजिस्टर। इन दैट रजिस्टर हम लोग एंटर करना होता है, और बाद में इट हैज टू बी क्लियरली सर्टिफाइड इज एन अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर। इनका अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर में भी ये लिखाना होता है, नहीं तो इनका रोल्स एंड रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी में इसका लिखा हुआ
तो
होता
सर
है जो एक्टिविटीज
ट्रेंड
में काम कर। हाँ।
ट्रेंड अडल्ट वर्कर में तो फीमेल भी हो सकता है ना?
अरे इधर तो लिखा हुआ है ना क्लियरली, स्पेशली ट्रेन्ड मेल वर्कर।
अभी तो जो ट्रेन में है लेडीज भी तो अभी फीमेल्स भी तो अभी काम कर रही है ना मोशन मशीन पर।
वही तो